And its whole purpose, supposedly, was to act like a fence to protect that original law. But the big argument we're digging into today is, what if that fence got so high and so complicated that you couldn't even see the law it was supposed to be protecting anymore?
All right, so our first stop on this journey is a pretty provocative idea right out of the gate. The critique asks, what happens when justice itself, when morality, can literally be bought and sold? I mean, what happens when things like violence and human dignity suddenly have a price tag?
Okay, let's start with a big one, probably one of the most famous laws ever, an eye for an eye. Now, in the written law, this is presented as a direct, no-nonsense command. The whole idea is perfect, equal justice for everyone.
And bam! This is where the critique really lands its first punch. See, the written law's principle means perfect equity. It doesn't matter if you're rich or poor, the consequence is the same. But the oral law's interpretation, it turns it into a monetary payment. The argument here is pretty stark. This creates a two-tiered justice system. A rich guy can just pay a fee to get away with violence, while a poor person can't. The rule of law becomes the rule of the wallet.
And according to the source material, this wasn't just a one-off thing. Oh no, it was a pattern. A death sentence for a negligent owner whose ox kills someone. Nah, that just becomes a ransom payment. The command, life for life if you cause a miscarriage? Nope, that's reduced to a financial payment for damages. A lifelong commitment of marriage for seduction? Forget that. Here's a checklist of fines for shame and blemish. You see what's happening? In every single case, a huge, profound moral consequence gets watered down into just a bill you have to pay.
So think about it. If you can pay your way out of consequences, what's the next logical step? Well, the critique argues it's to engineer your way out of responsibility entirely. And that, my friends, brings us to the beautiful, frustrating world of the loophole. Now, the written law on theft seems pretty cut and dry. If you steal something and you get caught, you have to pay back double. Simple, right? It's a penalty. It's meant to be a serious deterrent. Don't do the crime if you can't pay double the time, or the goods.
Okay, get ready for this one. This is the so-called confession loophole, and it is a perfect example of what this critique is talking about. So picture this. You're accused of theft. The witnesses are literally walking up to testify against you. You know the gig is up. So right at that last possible second, you shout, "I confess." And the result? Presto! You are now exempt from paying that double penalty fine. I mean, the argument here is that this has absolutely nothing to do with genuine remorse, right? It's just a perfectly timed trick to game the system.
And then we have this is a true masterpiece of legal jujitsu, the hetera ishka. The written law is crystal clear. You can't charge interest to one of your own people. Full stop. So what does the oral law do? It creates this fancy legal contract that just rebrands the loan as a business partner.